There are moments when a woman steps into the room not to announce herself, but to reclaim what the world once tried to take: her voice, her story, and the right to define her own beginning. The Harper's Bazaar profile of Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, is one of those moments. It reads like a quiet restoration, a reminder that beneath the noise and the narratives imposed upon her, Meghan has never stopped doing the work of becoming whole. Welcome. This is Majesty Sussex Report, and I'm Antonio. Thank you for spending some of your valuable time here with us.
We shine, magic rising, strong and free. Voices proud in harmony. Truth forever crowned in gold. Our story leaves, it can't be told. We rise, we shine, magic in our time. We rise, we shine. This crown is yours and mine.
Do you recall this photo taken during Paris Fashion Week, Meghan with Harper's Bazaar editor-in-chief Samira Nasr? At the time, I said this was a very interesting photo. It was interesting because it was done for the general public to notice. Now, this is what I know. Meghan was seen mingling with major industry figures, exchanging hugs with Vogue editor-in-chief Anna Wintour and the new U.S. Vogue editor Chloe Mal at the Balenciaga show in Paris. However, it was rumored that Meghan had signed with Harper's Bazaar to mark her first cover for a luxury fashion publication. Insiders say her meetings with Vogue appeared more like attempts to repair relationships following a conflict 3 years ago with then British Vogue editor Edward Enninful. We know about him talking out of both of his mouths. I'm not going to explain that one. You folks can figure it out. Harper's Bazaar secured the exclusive by arranging a meeting with editor-in-chief Samira Nasr in Paris. Bravo, Harper's Bazaar. Here is my take on the article. There will also be a complete reading of the article. The article begins at the La Brea tar pits, a place where bones are excavated, fragments lifted from the earth and reassembled into truth. It is a fitting metaphor. Here stands Meghan, surrounded by young girls in STEM, listening to them, encouraging them, seeing them. You can almost hear the hum of recognition, the way a woman who has survived a storm looks upon children who are learning for the first time how the world will try to shape them. Meghan moves through that space with intention, warm, grounded, fully present, revealing that her influence isn't anchored in performance, but in connection. The article reveals something essential. She has never lost the curiosity, the intellect, the spark that shaped her long before she married into monarchy. She is still the girl who wrote letters to Procter & Gamble at 11, still the young woman shaped by the ashes and aftermath of the LA uprising, still the millennial who believed, perhaps too deeply for some, in justice and possibility. But what stands out most in this profile is her clarity. For years, the British press has painted her as the villain of a story she never authored, the outsider, the disruptor, the woman who supposedly fractured a 1,000-year institution simply by breathing. They crafted an image of her that bore no resemblance to the person who emerges in this piece: thoughtful, deliberate, funny, self aware, and deeply human. A woman who leads not with ego, but with empathy. A woman punished not for wrongdoing, but for speaking, for questioning, for daring to exist outside the archetype that monarchy prefers: silent, grateful, ornamental. This is a pattern older than any palace: the outspoken woman, the self possessed woman, the black woman who refuses to shrink. She is always framed as the problem. She carries the archetype of too much: too confident, too articulate, too ambitious, too visible. History is crowded with these women: Nina Simone, Eartha Kitt, Ida B. Wells, women whose brilliance invited scrutiny, whose courage was recast as disruption. In this article, Meghan stands gently but firmly in that lineage, not as a martyr, but as a woman who understands the price of being fully seen. The article takes us from Los Angeles to the Polo Lounge in Beverly Hills, where Meghan meets the interviewer midday over a bowl arranged like a rainbow. There is a rare luxury in seeing her in an environment where she is not defensive, not reactive, but simply herself, engaging warmly with the legendary Michael Chow, smiling at a cappuccino printed with her own face, talking openly about her work ethic, her boundaries, her mistakes. Mistakes, she says, are where growth begins. Imperfection is where joy lives. It is a simple truth, but for a woman scrutinized at a forensic level, it is also a bold one. There is another revelation woven quietly through the article. Meghan's circle is not wide, but it is deep. The friendships that anchor her, Serena Williams, Kelly Zajfin, the women of her Montecito community, are bonds formed not in celebrity, but in loss, shared purpose, and the private spaces where grief and joy meet. Through their voices, we see the Meghan the tabloids refuse to acknowledge: funny, dry-witted, generous, loyal. And then there is Harry. If the British press spent years trying to sever that bond, trying to frame him as misled, confused, or trapped, this article makes something unmistakably clear. He loves her boldly. He sees what she endures. He guards her mental space the way a devoted partner does. And together, they have built a life not defined by titles, but by intention: 2 children, a home filled with creativity, and a marriage shaped by shared values rather than royal expectations. The profile brings us finally to New York, where Meghan appears in an oversized Northwestern sweatshirt, barefaced, her freckles visible. It is a portrait of ease, of womanhood stripped of pretense. And yet, even here, the article cannot resist acknowledging the pressure she withstands: the curiosity, the surveillance, the endless commentary on every outfit, every gesture, every breath. But what feels different now, what feels triumphant, is how she moves within that scrutiny, with boundaries, with strength, with a sense of play her mother taught her long ago. This is a woman who has faced a storm and refused to bow her head, a woman who has been misrepresented on a global stage and still chooses authenticity over performance, a woman who finds joy not in perfection, but in the messy, beautiful labor of building a new life. For Black women especially, Meghan's story resonates deeply. It speaks to the resilience Black women inherit, the way they are trained, early, instinctively, to navigate systems that were never built for them, and I include in this Black men, people of color, minorities in general. It echoes the endless balancing act: to be visible without being torn apart, to be excellent without being accused of arrogance, to shine without apology. Her journey mirrors the journeys of so many Black women whose truth is often rewritten by those who fear its power. And so, when the article ends with Meghan turning back toward a quiet kitchen, the rain-softened garden behind her, there is symbolism in the image. She is not retreating. She is not hiding. She is simply stepping into the next chapter, a chapter authored by her own hand, shaped by her own rhythm, guarded by the man who loves her, and surrounded by women who reflect her strength back to her. This Harper's Bazaar profile is not just an interview. It is a a reminder that no matter how loudly others may attempt to distort a woman's story, the truth has a way of rising. And in Meghan's case, it rises with grace, with resolve, and with the unbreakable legacy of Black women who have always learned to endure the fire and still walk forward unbowed. Here she stands, resilient, loved, unafraid, and wholly her own.
What's up, Eric?
You knew that I was flying today, right?
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. When we spoke, I said I was going to be in Los Angeles, and you have not called me to check on me. You have...
Eric, I'm winterizing this house. I had to take these 50-pound air conditioners out and take them to the storage unit.
What did I tell you about that word storage unit, Ma? You've got one more time to use the word storage. You have one more time to use the word storage unit.
Is it like crock pot meat?
Yes.
What's he doing?
Well, I'm reminding you that I flew today, and you didn't care to call and check on your firstborn son. But I'm alive, Ma.
No, I'm glad you're alive. Hey, listen, so how long are you in California?
I'm here for a week, and all I'm calling to do my due diligence to give you proof of life since you didn't care to check on me.
So what part of California are you in, sir?
Los Angeles, Ma. For the umpteenth time.
For the umpteenth time?
Umpteenth.
That's a lot of time.
Yes, it is. That I've reminded you.
Okay.
Ma, you didn't WhatsApp me. You didn't text me. You didn't call me.
You're crazy.
Ma, you could have sent a messenger pigeon. Anything. A smoke signal, Ma. There was no indication of care or love, and it's Sunday.
You know what? I'll do better next time, bro.
That's all I ask, Ma. That's all I ask.
Okay.
I bet you spoke to Brittany today, though, didn't you?
Well, yeah, because she...
Why is that, Ma? Did she fly?
Because she asked me if I wanted Mediterranean food from the Greeks.
So she fed you, you'll speak to her. Because I'm working, and I didn't give you the attention. So y'all went to go have Mediterranean. So that's why I didn't hear from you. Because you were with Brittany.
No, she ordered it, and I picked it up because I was out that way.
Ma, in the military, there's a term that we use. It's called unsat, which means that it's unsatisfactory. And I am unsatisfied.
So let me tell you what I had. I had grape leaves and grilled kebab filet mignon, and the hummus with the delicious fresh pita bread, and it was yum, yum, yum.
Okay, well, my flight was 6.5 hours. I'm hungry.
How long are you gone?
Ask me again how long I'm gone, Ma. A week.
No, seriously. Okay.
A week. And you telling me about the hummus and the honey and the... It's just salt to the wound, because not only am I hungry, my mother has not checked on me.
I'm sorry.
You're not sorry.
You relajate, okay?
I'll relax, Ma. I gotta go. I need to go eat. So now I'm terminating the phone call.
All right, I love you so much.
Yeah, I love you too.
You have a blessed day.
No, you have a blessed and highly favored day, Ma.
All right, smooches.
Bye.
We shine.
Magic rising strong and free, voices proud in harmony.
True forever crowned in gold. Our story lives, it can't be told.
We rise, we shine, magic in our time. We
Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, meets her moment. After years of being subsumed by other people's narratives, she's ready to author her own next chapter story by Caitlin Greenidge, and photographs by Malik Bodian, styling by Carlos Nazario. A cluster of white tents has been set up at the La Brea Tar Pits, the active fossil dig site and natural history museum in Los Angeles, to receive a group of girls from a local STEM academy. One tent near the entrance is appointed with a handsome, worn-looking wooden desk with a tarp hanging behind it that's printed with a reproduction of a nature painting. It looks like the movie version of an archaeologist's field station. The 11 and 12-year-olds, in their purple and gray uniforms, are unaware of who they are about to meet. It's a warm September day, and I can hear them murmuring outside the tent. A golf cart pulls up, the gravel crunching beneath its tires. "The Duchess of Sussex," someone in the scrum announces. Meghan descends dressed in wide leg trousers, a silk blouse, and a small pair of pavy diamond studs by the Ukrainian brand Guzema. They were a gift from her husband, Prince Harry, picked up on a recent trip to Kyiv with his Invictus Games Foundation. Meghan lived just a few blocks from here as a child. She mentions that this is where she rode on the back of her mother's bike before she was allowed to ride here on her own. Everyone is ushered into the tent, where a table is set up with boxes full of dirt and bone specimens. A museum educator begins to explain what they are looking at. Meghan is attuned to the girls. She asks one about her nails, another about what she's studying. When a girl mentions her love of languages, Meghan lights up. "I'm learning French on Duolingo," she says proudly, adding that she just hit a 90-day streak. Meghan and the girls assemble for a group photo. Some girls look straight at the camera, while a few squint or stare off to the side, an attempt, maybe, to stave off self-consciousness. This is a time for many girls when they become aware of being seen, sometimes benevolently, more often not. Meghan, 44, stands in the middle of the group. She lives a life accompanied by a level of scrutiny that every tween girl imagines is always present. Except for Meghan, it is very real. "I don't know how any woman could see a young girl and not see herself in her, especially at that age," Meghan tells me later.
When Meghan became engaged to Prince Harry in 2017, it triggered a tectonic shift in the culture. Already an actress on the popular cable drama Suits and the purveyor of an aspirational lifestyle brand, The Tig, Meghan shot to global superstardom and became the subject of an intense public fascination made up of equal parts adoration and vitriol. The contrast in Meghan and Harry's backgrounds: she was American and he was British. She was a working actress from a modest family, and he was a royal. She was biracial, and he was a symbol for an imaginary monoracial Britain, scrambled multiple narratives. Depending on your perspective, their union symbolized the triumph of liberal, post-racial meritocracy or the downfall of traditional, conservative values. In 2020, when the couple announced their intention to step back from royal duties and move to California, the tabloids dubbed it Megxit. It was a cultural inflection point. Was this a refutation of generational trauma or millennials being afraid of hard work? In all of those stories, though, Meghan lost her agency and her humanity. Meghan understands her voice better than you, better than any producer could put it out there, says Terry Wood, Executive Vice President at Harper Productions, Oprah Winfrey's production company. Wood executive produced the explosive 2021 Oprah interview with Meghan and Harry after they stepped back from the royal family. Its airing triggered an aftershock, and worked with Meghan on the production of her podcast Archetypes. She knows how she comes across, and she knows how she wants to connect. She understands that so much has been written about her that when she does something, she wants to break through that noise so people see that she is authentically trying to be herself. Meghan has acquired a level of fame that is irrevocable. The question becomes, what does one woman do with that amount of power and tricky sort of influence? In the 5 years since leaving the firm, what some members of the royal family call the institution that dictates their lives, Meghan has remained focused on the projects she has built for herself and that fit her lifestyle as a mother of young children, Prince Archie, 6, and Princess Lilibet, 4. Together with Prince Harry, she launched the nonprofit Archewell Foundation in 2020 with the mission to show up, do good. She has signed development deals with Spotify and Netflix. Her lifestyle series, With Love, Meghan, in which she invites friends to a Nancy Meyers-esque California home to cook, craft, and garden with her, coincided with the launch of her brand, As Ever, which sells scented candles, preserves, flour sprinkles, and wine. After years of others attempting to fit her into their narratives, she is now pursuing a life and a career that feel authentic to her and her alone, and allowing herself to enjoy it too.
The appearance at the La Brea Tar Pits has wrapped, and now it's lunchtime at the Polo Lounge at the Beverly Hills Hotel. I've followed Meghan underneath the iconic green and white striped awning of the entryway and through the cream-carpeted lobby and outdoors onto the patio, where a live piano player's notes accompany our procession. Long the C and B scene spot for Hollywood deal-making and politicking, it is a calculated choice as the site for my first interview with Meghan. We are ushered to a circular table in the corner of the garden, a prime seat where we can see the other diners and they can see the three of us. The Sussex's chief communications officer sits between us. We order a burger and fries for the table, and Meghan orders the Polo Power Bowl. When it arrives, she holds up the dish, taking genuine delight in the perfectly arranged produce, aligned to make a rainbow. During our conversation, Meghan pauses to chat with the restaurateur Michael Chow. She says his restaurant catered a recent birthday for Prince Harry, or H, as she always refers to him, and has a whispered conference with a famous film titan. How do powerful women flex? Do they lead with deference or dominance? Meghan seems to lead with affability. The warmth with which she greets each of these men, and with which they reciprocate, is genuine. With me, her interviewer, where the power balance shifts back and forth, she is warm and open, and she always maintains direct eye contact. It's a skill she's honed since childhood. I was such a little nerd, she says. My entire identity was wrapped up in being the smart one. There used to be this show. I'm dating myself, but do you remember Studs? This is where I am reminded that Meghan, like me, is an elder millennial, born in 1981. We are a maligned bunch, hated by our elders for our generational insistence on authenticity and social justice, derided by those younger for our earnest belief that the world is capable of change, what Gen Z has labeled cringe. Studs is an elder millennial touchpoint, a dating game show that aired on Fox in the early 90s. I distinctly remember my mom and her friends hating it because of how often the contestants used the word buns. After school, kids would enact a little makeshift version of Studs to play. They were like, well, Meghan can be the host, she says. I had the personality type of I can help coordinate, I can help organize, and I can facilitate. I think I'm probably the same now. She brings up the girls at the tar pits and their vulnerability, which she clearly empathizes with. It makes sense. Some of those girls are the same age, 11, as Meghan was when she graduated from Hollywood Little Red Schoolhouse. It's the age she was when she wrote a letter to Procter & Gamble to protest gender stereotypes in the company's advertising. It was also around the time of the 1992 LA uprising. When I ask her about that time now, she says, "It was cinematic in a way I don't think many people can understand. It was so visual. Smoke everywhere. People were driving around with the back of their SUVs open. I saw people running with boxes of diapers, smashed windows, so much fire and ash falling from the sky that it felt like snow." As we sit at the Polo Lounge, the city is currently at the center of a national fight over the enforcement of this administration's immigration policy and the continued deployment of the National Guard to urban areas. But the city, Meghan says many times over the course of our conversation, is resilient. It was scary, but LA survived it.
For Meghan, the trajectory of her life has come full circle. The Sussexes moved to California in 2020, settling in Montecito, a secluded, wealthy enclave of celebrity entrepreneurs like Oprah Winfrey and Gwyneth Paltrow. There, Meghan reconnected with a tight-knit circle of women, including Kelly Zajvin, who met Meghan when they were both in their 20s. It is a small group of us that protect each other, Zyphon says. They had fallen out of touch, but Meghan reached out in 2022 after she found out that Zyphon's 9-year-old son had passed away from COVID-19 and viral meningitis. The second I heard her voice, it felt like I was right back with her, Zyphon says. Zyphon is on the board of the Alliance for Children's Rights, a nonprofit that provides support for children and teens in California's foster care system, and that Meghan and Harry, through their Archewell Foundation, have supported. There's not a day that goes by that she hasn't checked in or I haven't checked in, Zajvan says. Someone can show up in a time of need or grief, and oftentimes they don't stay or they're only here for a short amount of time. But Meghan just always made herself available to all of us. Self-actualization through work. This same group of millennial women experienced a radical shift once work was disrupted by the 2020 pandemic. I ask her, despite her extraordinary circumstances, if she has experienced any of that same upending shift. I like the community of work and the connection, Meghan says. I think a lot of it is in my DNA. It's an attitude in contrast with the current trend of valorizing a soft life. That is, a life without work outside the home, with an emphasis on ease, which requires its own level of hidden labor. You should do what works for you, Meghan says diplomatically. For her, though, when people start to see your work ethic and really understand how dedicated you are to things, how you are in one place, I believe, is how you are in other places. So for me, that's how I show up when I do potlucks at my kids' school. That's how I show up when putting a party together for my friend who just had a baby. That's how I show up in my business. The fear of failure often runs in tandem with the millennial desire to achieve, best illustrated in the specter of the girl boss. When I broach the topic and ask Meghan what she's learned from her mistakes, she deadpans, "You learn not to do it again," before clarifying, "If it all goes swimmingly, you don't learn from it. If you don't learn anything, you're not going to grow." She continues, "I'm a mom with kids at that age where they are constantly learning something new. I watch them face things that feel completely insurmountable every day. But you can remember and say, I know it seems really hard right now, but trust me, that's going to come so easily soon. I can give myself the same grace as a founder. There's no such thing as perfect. I, too, get to make mistakes. There's also not a lot of fun in trying to be perfect, Meghan says. So why try to do that if you want to have fun? And by her good friend Serena Williams's account, Meghan does. We love a good mimosa, Williams says. We could talk for 100 hours, and it feels like 10 minutes go by, and it's like we never stop smiling. Zyphon tells me she's funny. I think maybe that's surprising to people. Williams, who met Meghan over a decade ago at a Super Bowl party, says, we both definitely have a dry sense of humor. I think that's why we hit it off for no reason at this silly football thing. We were just like, why are we here? To meet you, apparently, and we've been lifelong friends ever since. I don't like things that feel overly realized, Meghan says. If you overwork the dough, it's not going to rise. And sometimes I think the stress that people put on moments, they are so consumed in them that you lose the fun of why you are doing something. Not everyone who starts a business is under the microscope that she's under, Terry Wood says. What she is learning to weather and ride out is the judgment that happens as a businesswoman when you are that famous.
A waiter comes to clear the table, but Meghan asks him to leave the fries behind. I ask her if she ever feels the need to compartmentalize the parts of her life, work and family. My office is right by the kitchen, and I love that I can work from home, she says. It's a great luxury. Her daughter, Lilibet, comes and sits on my lap when I'm in the middle of the meeting, whether it's about P and L for my brand or it's about something creative. When I ask Meghan what she hopes her kids see when they see her working, she tells me, "I hope they see the value of being brave. They saw it when the jam was just a pot on the stove, bubbling." When you're young, she adds, I think you are a little bit more fearless. As we get older, we lose some of that. Our allotted time at the table is coming to a close. The last of the meal is whisked away, and a waiter comes by with an unsolicited cappuccino. In the foam on top, the restaurant has printed a photorealistic image of Meghan. "Oh," she says, smiling down at it, "I recognize this picture. That's from our trip to South Africa." Prince Harry and Meghan toured the country in 2019. It's a lovely and absurd perk of celebrity, and Meghan is tickled enough to take a photo of it. Then I meet up with Meghan a week later on a stormy day in New York. She's wearing black leggings and an oversized Northwestern sweatshirt, her alma mater. Her hair is pulled back, and if she has any makeup on, it's difficult to tell. Her skin is bare, and some of her freckles are visible. She looks like she could still be in college. We're in a grand brownstone on the Upper East Side that belongs to one of Meghan's friends. When I enter, the house manager announces, "Meghan, Duchess of Sussex," even though we appear to be the only other two people in the house. Meghan and Harry are in New York to receive the Humanitarians of the Year award from Project Healthy Minds, a non-profit focused on mental health. We try to decide where we will have our talk, downstairs in the kitchen, with its oak countertops and view of the patio, or upstairs. She gestures toward the second floor of the house, which is accessed via a glass elevator in the living room. In the week since we last met, Meghan caused a sensation when she made a surprise appearance at the Balenciaga show during Paris Fashion Week, the first with Pierpaolo Piccioli at the helm. The two have known each other for years. "I was excited for him," she says. "I reached out and I said, 'Happy to come and support you.' We kept it a secret, and it was really fun."
There's that word again. I love being able to do both, Meghan says, to play in the sandbox with my kids and to play in the front row at a show. I think the moment that you start making all of your personal decisions based on external judgment, then you lose your authenticity. I point out that when women in the public eye are multidimensional, they tend to get a lot of flack. Why do you think that is? Meghan asks me. Here, I launch into a tangent about our culture's deep and historical distrust of women's voices in public. You know what I mean? I finally say. Meghan deadpans again. Well, yeah. I tell her it sounds like she has good boundaries. I think my boundaries became stronger once I came into the public eye in this very... She pauses and makes a face, similar to the one she made when talking about making mistakes, and laughs. I could think of any adjective to fill the blank, and it would probably work. You find different ways to protect yourself, whether that's self-preservation or it's just growing up. Her circle of trust is tight. She puts her hand on her heart when she talks about her husband. He loves me so boldly, fully, and he also has a different perspective because he sees media that I wouldn't, she says. No one in the world loves me more than him, so I know he's always going to make sure that he has my back. With Harry, Meghan explains, you have someone who just has this childlike wonder and playfulness. I was so drawn to that, and he brought that out in me. That's translated into every part of our life. Even in business, I want us to play and have fun and explore and be creative. Meghan also credits her mother, Doria Ragland, with teaching her how to play. As a child, I was very much an old soul, she says. That's been part of my wiring. My mom would say I was just born that way. Her mother, in contrast, was a free spirit, and they were a close duo. A travel agent during part of Meghan's childhood, Ragland would use her employee discounts so they could travel to Mexico for Day of the Dead. Meghan's maternal grandmother, another strong, single woman, lived around the corner. It was at her grandmother's that Meghan learned about food. Her mother was not a regular cook, and Meghan remembers most of the food at her table being eaten in haste. Carnation instant breakfast shakes in the morning, deli sandwiches for lunch, though these were often an attempt to deliver on Meghan's request to have a Subway sandwich, like she'd seen in the commercials. Her grandmother, whose family came from Tennessee, had a garden where Meghan helped pick greens and make preserves. As she describes it, it was a childhood with close ties, though she says her parenting style is very different from her mother's. She has made it a study using books and apps, a diligence that has made her an authority within her friend circle. She's just so smart, and I feel like no matter what, I can always learn from her, says Williams. The last time the two hung out, Meghan was talking about this amazing woman who is really helpful and how to talk to kids. I'm implementing so much that she's teaching me. But when Meghan was growing up, her understanding of how to be a mother and a girl came from the media as much as it did from the women around her. She spoke of wanting to be a mother because of the capable sitcom moms she watched on TGIF shows and because of loving Archie comics. Everyone was like, "Do you want to be a Betty or a Veronica?" "Which one did you want to be?" I ask her. "Oh, Betty, of course," she says, laughing. "She was so nice." The LA of Meghan's childhood, diverse working-class neighborhoods, and Erewhon before it was cool, is gone now. It's been changed by time, but also was decimated by fire last winter. Pasadena and Altadena, two of the community's hardest hit, were places she spent a lot of time during her adolescence. I saw homes where I used to have sleepovers reduced to ash. Meghan and Harry were both spotted in the aftermath, volunteering with Chef Jose Andres and his World Central Kitchen nonprofit. It was less about just giving someone a handout, but giving it to them with dignity, she says. Can you treat it with the same level of care that you would if you had lost everything? It's nearly time for me to go. Meghan tells me that she'll be having lunch soon with Gloria Steinem, or Glo as she calls her. They met during the pandemic. A mutual acquaintance was in their shared pod. Steinem came to Thanksgiving at Meghan's house. I've just always admired her, she says. Meghan is remarkably at ease with the surrealism of global celebrity. In fact, she seems to enjoy it. The house is quiet. The streets outside are too because of the storm. When I walk to the door, I turn and can see Meghan turn back to the kitchen, illuminated by the green light of the rain-soaked garden, ready to move on to the next thing. So, what are your thoughts? I mean, I thought it was a pretty wonderful article, balanced article, and it really focused on Megan's experience and what is going on in her life and so on. I thought it was well written, well done, and I mean, the woman looks fantastic, and I mean, fantastic is not even the right word. Amazing. She's so beautiful, and if you weren't sure or you didn't know, those photographs were taken with her having no makeup on. She's just naturally beautiful, blessed in so many ways. So many ways. I cannot imagine, cannot fathom the the craziness that's happening right now over on that island and those people. Because if you were to go into the comment section of Harper Bazaar's Instagram, you will see the insanity, you will see the unloved, you will see the people who have nothing good going on in their lives. They're pathetic and they're extremely unloved and unhappy people. That's it. Unloved, unhappy, and miserable. They're the ones who have this world the way it is today. They're the ones who blindly follow as a bunch of moronic idiots, and do forgive me. But that is what they are. That is what they are. Well, it is what it is because us over here, we are blessed and favored in so many ways. And thank God for that. Thank God for that. There's some stuff I'm working on for tomorrow's episode. Here's a quick little preview of what I will be speaking about tomorrow.
job there is in British public life at the moment is probably Director General of the BBC, whoever does that next. And a name keeps coming up, and that's your name. And I just wonder what your feeling is about it.
Well, I think my name keeps coming up because people have watched W1A and they think it's time for a reality version. I am a great supporter of the BBC, but simply saying it's wonderful is not enough. I think that there is a problem at the corporation, and it is a very simple one. I think the corporation has forgotten that it is not an advocate, it is a scribe. Its job is to tell the country what is going on, what it is like, what it is feel like. Its job is not to tell the country what it should be like, what its citizens should think, and who and what is if you like, offside, who or what is not permissible. And what I think people are missing on some of this argument is that it's not about just left versus right. It is often about the people at the corporation deciding what the public what is good for the public to know and what is not good for the public to know. We stopped doing that in the 1950s, and I think it's come back, but in the worst possible way.
I hear two things from that answer. First of all, that if you got the job, things would change quite radically. And second, that you haven't ruled yourself out.
That's it, my beautiful, 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 beautiful people. Thank you so much for being here. I know I came on later than I said I would because I was waiting for Baron to finish, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to be on at the same time, and Baron is on. But I waited as long as I could, and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to go on, let it just be. And Baron, Royal Sussex, sorry, I didn't want, but I just said, okay, let's just do it. Let's just go on, and it is what it is. My humblest apologies to Baron. Royal Sussex is the mothership, okay? It's the mothership. So I don't ever want to be on at the same time or have time in clash or anything like that. It's not like I matter anyways. Okay? So, but at the end of the day, I owe Baron an enormous amount of respect. So I didn't want anything to clash when I realized that he was going to be on at 9:30. Thank you, folks, for being here. I love you all. God bless. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. And I'll speak to you soon again. Bye for now. Mwah.